Hi, welcome back to Real Podcast. I'm Erin,
And I'm Adama.
and today we're going to be talking to you guys about the importance of hiring a real estate agent, why you do it, and how you do it.
And I think the first step is how to find an agent. A lot of people are unaware, so we're going to guide you through that.
Okay, yeah, so one of the first steps that you want to do is you can log on to briabahamas.com, and that is the Bahamas Real Estate Association's website. If you don't know a personal real estate agent, but you can just ask around, you can check your friends, family, and social media is also a great place. Now, oftentimes you're going to see different real estate companies pop up in different ads. You can just easily click on any of those ads and do an inquiry about the agent. Go onto various real estate agent company websites, and then you can search for an agent.
I think the thing that stands out to me with that though is I prefer finding an agent that a family member has recommended or someone and it's my just my choice. I think I'd go with somebody that my family member knew and they spoke highly of, because there are a lot of agents out there and every agent is not the same.
That's very true.
So
because I've had clients come to me with their horror stories about agents, and it's so important to just vet your agent. And like you said, it's always good to get a recommendation from a family member, friend, colleague, or someone. I mean, there's more than enough agents in the Bahamas to do that. And in doing that, you can learn a lot of information. And it's also important to interview your agent as well, because this is going to be a serious lifelong commitment. Well, for some lifelong, but it's a serious long-term commitment. And you want to make sure that you and your agent get along. They understand you, you understand them. And it's not just like a quick, oh, well, let me just sell Adama any property because I just want the commission.
Right.
You want someone who's going to listen to you, understand you, relate to you, and look out for your best interest and not just trying to make a dollar at the end of the day.
right, somebody who's not just in it for the sale.
Correct.
But genuinely someone that is caring, somebody that you can trust or you feel comfortable with. That's very important.
So for a lot of persons, right, they may ask, why should I choose Adama as an agent?
I think experience plays a strong part of it, along with, I think, I guess the information, how well you communicate. Communication is important because a lot of times agents are maneuvering, but the clients are unaware of exactly how to go about, whether it's you're representing a seller or you're representing a buyer. A lot of times the clients are unaware and you think they know because you know, but they
Correct.
don't. So I think explaining a lot of things as you go, I find that an actual document or an email with breaking down the steps of a purchase or breaking down the steps of selling is good to give to your client as a guideline. So as things are happening, they're aware of, okay, we're at this point and this is next and that is next. I find that helpful for my clients.
Your clients, yeah. I think that's very important. For me, the way I like to interact with my clients, I like to have more of an informal conversation with them just to get an idea of their lifestyle. Are you married? Do you have kids? If you have kids, how many kids? What school do they go to? Do you intend on keeping them in that school? Do you prefer East? Do you prefer West? What church you go to? A lot of different little things can help determine your lifestyle. I had a client, kids go to school in the East, but they work in the West, but they want to buy a house in the West. Well, by the time we calculated the drive distance they would have to do, and they'll be literally spending 4 hours a day in traffic.
Right.
And when I broke it down like that to them, they were like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. So they ended up purchasing in the East, and they spend maybe 2 hours in traffic a day, dropping the kids off, going to work, and then coming back, and then that's it. So you want to find an agent who's going to look out for your best interest, find those little context clues of things that's going to make your life a little bit easier.
Right. And I want to point out, there are agents that are out there operating as an agent and is not licensed.
Yeah.
Every agent in the Bahamas should be licensed with the Bahamas Real Estate Association, and that's something that is updated on an annual basis. And again, you can go on the Bahamas Real Estate Association website and you can check to make sure that the person that you're dealing with is licensed. There is a license number there, or there's the Bahamas Real Estate Association office that you could always call to verify that that person is licensed before you conduct business with them.
Yeah, because last year there were a lot of property frauds
fraud.
where persons were giving deposits to agents. And by the way, real estate agents do not deal with cash. Your cash is handled through your attorney, and this is why it's important to interview the agents to get all of this information. Because if an agent comes to you and they tell you, "Oh, to work with me, you have to pay me a deposit of $5,000," and this has happened to a client of mine. They said an agent was charging them about $5,000 to work with them, and they said that money would be applied to their property purchase. And I had to let her know, I'm like, we don't charge you. Our service is basically free. We get paid at the end of the deal. That's nothing that comes out of pocket for you. So if an agent says, "Hey, you have to pay me X amount of dollars to work with them," that's not the case. That's not how we do business in the Bahamas. When it comes time to exchanging funds for your deposit for your property, that is held in escrow through your attorney. So I don't touch your money. So please beware of the scammers. And like Adama said, you can log on to the Bahamas Real Estate Association's website, and you can just type in the person's number, and if you don't see their name and their ID number, then that's a huge red flag.
So a common thing that I get is, why I need to hire you as an agent, and I could just go find a property myself, or I could put in the offer myself with the owner, or like, so what would you say to somebody that says, "Why I need to hire you and pay the extra fee"?
Well, you need to hire me because, one, you're not paying an extra fee. I'm going to look out for your best interest. I'm going to find you the best property of value. I'm going to get you comps to know what's the right property value. I'm going to guide you. If you don't have an attorney, I'm going to get you the right attorneys, the right appraisers. We can get you in contact with the financiers at the banks or any other lending institution that will actually help you. And to have someone in your corner to represent you and look out for you is very important, because if you're going directly to someone that's selling a property, there are going to be flaws and different things in the property that they may not show you. As an agent, I am obligated to point out any flaws that I might see in the property, and I can actually be fined for not following the ethics and laws in the country. So you need an agent to have your best interest, and like I say, it's no fee, so you're not going to be charged anything.
Yes, I want to stress that in purchasing, being a purchaser, there is no fee to you. The seller actually pays the real estate commission. So there is no reason in my mind, why wouldn't I hire a free agent? It's a free agent.
Exactly.
Like, why wouldn't I get somebody to help me with a process? One of the biggest investments of your life. Like, why wouldn't I get a free agent to come and help me and the seller paying the agent? Like, I think it just makes so much more sense. And if you're unaware, if this is your first purchase, you don't know the steps.
Exactly.
So an agent can guide you along. They've been doing it, whether they've been doing it for a year, 10 years, 15 years, they know the steps. It's the best thing to do in our opinion.
Yeah, and then even if you are a person that's selling a property, it's very important to have an agent represent you, because we're going to bring you qualified buyers. We're going to take out all of the legwork when it comes to marketing. We get in there, we get your photos done, professionally done. We handle your marketing. We get it out there to our network, which could be thousands of individuals, both locally and internationally. And then also too, as a seller, you may not have the time to bother with showing properties at all hours of the day and answering these different questions. And then sometimes too, with persons, they may say, "Hey, Adama's selling a property. I know Adama." More than likely, that person is going to try to lowball you with your figure. If your house is valued $500,000, they're going to try to talk you down to $300,000. And so it takes away all of that awkwardness that you might have with an individual, and we do a lot of heavy lifting for you.
One thing that I do want to bring up is the agent fees for a seller. So the fees across the board is 6% for a developed property, and an undeveloped property is 10%. So, for people that are unaware of that fact.
Yeah, and so with that too, we sit you down with during the process to show you how we break down our fees. So we will give you your top dollar. So if your property is valued at X amount of dollars, we're going to make sure get it at a comfortable price point where you're happy and we're happy as well, and we can get the job done for you.
And there's also the option of getting an appraisal to find out your current market value if you're unsure, or if you feel more comfortable, getting that figure from an appraiser.
Yeah, and appraisals are so important. That's definitely going to be another podcast topic that we have to dive into.
Yeah, the
But
steps to
it's
purchasing. Yeah, that's definitely in there.
podcasting. Let's a podcast. Sorry, the appraisal is much needed, and a lot of persons they don't take advantage of using it. They just see it as another expense. But spending what $300 or $400 or less to get an appraisal done can make a big difference between your property selling for $200 versus $600.
One thing that I've encountered that, well, I think I've probably had one situation last week where I had a client that called into me. She saw a listing on our website. She wanted me to get the details for her. So I sent her the details, sent her the PIN. She took a look at the property, wanted to put in an offer. And all seemed to be well. I registered her with the list company, and then I got a call from her agent that my client said that she viewed a property and she wants to put in an offer. So speak to the fact of well, I guess a bit about if you've decided on an agent, the proper and I'd say ethical, considerate thing to do when searching.
Yeah, so when you're searching for a property, it's best that you only use one real estate agent, because if you're using myself and Adama and another person, it's going to cause chaos and confusion. In the Bahamas, we use the MLS, the multiple listing service, and we have access to all of the properties that's on every company's website. Now, there are some companies that have their own personal, private, and pocket listings, but we do have access to the agent of those properties. And so by you using multiple agents and registering yourself, being registered all over the country with multiple agents for an individual property, it sends a red flag to the person selling the property, because they're like, I don't know how serious this person is, because they're here, there, and everywhere with all these different agents. So it's a red flag to them about you. So you want to just minimize that confusion. And then you also want to give your agent the opportunity to maximize and exhaust every option for you. You know, spreading yourself thin, it really doesn't help. And I do understand that there are some persons that say, well, you know, I was using this one agent and they don't call me back, or they don't do this and they don't do that. You have to give some agents grace, you know, because they may have one or two other clients. So, you know, give them at least 24 hours to respond to you. Now, obviously, if it's an agent that's not calling you, not texting you, absolutely not responding, then I understand you moving on. But you should still give them the courtesy and be like, I'm moving on to another agent, rather than messaging 10 other agents to do the same job, because at that point you're going to turn off a lot of agents and everyone is going to eventually end up not working with you.
Yeah, nobody's going to be fully committed to you when they find that you're all over the place, that you're you know,
you're spreading yourself thin. And then the thing is, in the Bahamas, you know, the majority of agents, we are on a WhatsApp group chain, so everyone is going to find out that, hey, I'm working with this person too, and I'm working with this person too, and then it's going to turn
looking for the same
exactly
thing, yeah.
You know, so you don't want to find yourself getting pushed back because everyone's saying, oh, well, she's working with Adama, then I don't need to continue doing this. And then you're going to find out that you're going to end up with no one working with you. So it's just important to stick with one agent. And if you're unsure about one agent, just interview multiple agents, narrow it down.
At the beginning process,
exactly.
yeah.
Just narrow it down to like one agent and then carry on with that person.
It's totally fine to go to choose 3 or 4 agents. One you may know, one may be recommended by a family member, one you found online, and literally go to their office and say, what would make me choose you? Why choose you as my agent? And it's nothing wrong with that. Anybody that takes offense to that, you don't need to hire them as your agent. That's just your sign right there. But I think everybody else, every other agent would feel comfortable with that. It also shows you a level of seriousness that, this is a serious buyer, that they want to take the time to interview agents and figure out which one works best for them. And once you've selected that agent, stick with them. If you see something on another real estate company's site that looks interesting, because when you're in the market to purchase, you're online at night, you scroll in and you see something, screenshot it, send it to your agent that you chose, and then they can find the information out. They can arrange the viewing for you. Like that, I think is the best way to do it. Even if you pass a property and you see a sign there and it's not a sign from the company that your agent works for, just take a photo of the sign, a photo of the house or property, and say, hey, I'm interested in this. Could you find out the details and arrange a showing? It's that easy.
Yeah, so just to wrap it up, hiring an agent is a very simple process, and a lot of agents are very welcoming, and we would love to have you guys come in office, sit with us, have a conversation, have a consultation, and we can help you map out, plan out, budget out anything that it takes to get you to where your goal is. So don't be afraid, call us, email us, stop in. It's very welcomed. Any other closing thoughts?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next episode.
Bye.